Hi, my name's Jeremy Leboff. I'm one of the partners at Sobell Rhodes. Thank you for joining me for the latest of our videos from the Sobell Rhodes Toolkit. This particular video covers the bounce back loans recently released by the UK government and how these work and interact, and they are part of our coronavirus series of videos to help everyone through the current crisis. The information provided in this video is correct as at the 7th of May 2020. And please be aware that I'm going to be going fast, covering a lot of headlines, because you don't want me to get into too much detail. I promise you'll get very bored very quickly if I try and drag it out. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The business bounce back loans were announced by the government recently. They are aimed at SME businesses. You're allowed to borrow between £2,000 and up to 25% of your turnover, although there is a ceiling maximum loan of £50,000. They are guaranteed by the government 100%, unlike C-bills, which are only guaranteed 80% by the government, and there are no repayments, no fees, no interest or anything for the first 12 months. The normal interest that will kick in after the first 12 months is 2.5% interest per annum. That's set by the government under the legislation, and we're looking at a maximum 6-year loan period. Now, I say maximum, it's actually set as a 6-year loan period, but there is no repayment fees, and as such, therefore, you're in a position whereby you could probably repay that early should you wish to. So who can apply for these loans? The headlines are simply: got to be a UK business established before the 1st of March 2020, adversely affected by the coronavirus. That is something you have to self-certify when making an application. Greater than 50% of income must derive from trading activities. So if you're an investment heavy business, then you must be careful before making an application. You may not be eligible. The intention of the loan must be the economic benefit of the company or the business, but it is not for personal use, essentially. I suppose that kind of makes sense, but just to clarify it and put it out there. Special rules apply for businesses in difficulty at the 31st of December 2020. In relation to these, I'm going to come on to businesses in difficulty a little bit later. You need to be able to confirm that the additional state aid rules, which would apply to businesses in difficulty only, are applicable, and that you are able to conform with those. So who can't apply for a bounce back loan? Very simply, banks and insurers and reinsurers. I'm terribly sorry, but they are not able to apply for a bounce back loan. If you're, however, a broker, like an insurance broker, then that's absolutely fine. You can apply, not a problem at all. All public sector bodies are out. State funded primary and secondary schools are out, and businesses that have within their wider group, so we're talking here groups of companies that have already made an application for or received a business bounce back loan, they cannot apply. So be aware if you've got a single company or a group of companies where anyone within those has already made an application or has received one. It's only one for all, I'm afraid. If you've got a business that's already in bankruptcy or debt restructuring or liquidation or anything like that, I'm afraid that they are out as well. So there are some special rules that you need to be aware of under this, though, because if you've already got businesses that are claiming either C-bills, the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme, or its bigger brother, or something under the Corporate Financing Facility, then technically you cannot apply. If it is greater than £50,000, you definitely can't apply. But if, however, you have a loan that is less than £50,000 under one of these structures, you can get it transferred into a business bounce back loan, which is much better because of the fact that you've got the 100% guarantee, and also the interest rates may be favourable as compared with what you're getting at the moment. So you've got a chance to do that. So it's something that's well worth bearing in mind if you thought that originally you wouldn't apply. But there is that £50,000 ceiling on that. Businesses in difficulty. Let's have a quick look at that, because it's a complex area and I could bore you to tears, but I'm going to give you as much information as I can very, very quickly to help you with this. So what we mentioned earlier, businesses in difficulty will have extra rules in relation to how much can be borrowed. They will be applicable to the de minimis scheme for state aid rather than other schemes, and I'll come on to that in a second. So let's have a look. The headlines are: if you're an individual or company that has already entered into some sort of collective insolvency proceedings, you would be a business in difficulty. But as we've already seen, they'd actually be disqualified from a bounce back loan anyway. So don't put too much headspace into that one. This is the big one. Accumulated losses of greater than half the capital in the partnership or the company or whatever, that will be a problem. If you have got accumulated losses greater than 50% of the capital in the company, you would be qualifying as a business in difficulty unless you're less than 3 years old, because those rules do not apply to businesses less than 3 years old. So actually, less than 3 years old, this doesn't apply. This wouldn't make you a business in difficulty. If, however, you've received state aid and it's not yet been paid back, or had the guarantee terminated, or you've received restructuring aid and you're still subject to a restructuring plan, these things would make you, your business, a business in difficulty. So what are the implications if you are qualifying under the heading of business in difficulty? Well, essentially, state aid restrictions apply in excess of those for normal businesses. And I'm going to try and keep this as concise as possible. Under normal circumstances, businesses that are receiving up to £712,000 worth of state aid totally within a year would be in a position whereby this particular bounce back loan is absolutely fine and not a problem for them. If, however, a business in difficulty is looking to apply for a bounce back loan, then that level drops down from £712,000 worth of total state aid to €200,000, the equivalent, over 3 years. So that's spread over 3 years of de minimis state aid. Now, you might think, oh my gosh, that's not particularly going to affect me. But when you bear in mind that de minimis state aid includes areas such as the employment allowance, which as of 6th of April was £4,000. So this is the employment allowance from the 6th of April 2020, not previously. Then you start to realize that actually this could become something that you need to give serious consideration to. So if you're a business in difficulty and you're looking at getting a bounce back loan, you have to look at this very, very carefully to make sure you are not in contravention of the de minimis rules. I'm not going to go into any more detail. This is far too complex for a video like this, other than flagging it as something that needs to be considered before you move it forward. So if you do also go ahead, the implications are that if you get a bounce back loan and you are a business in difficulty, that cannot be used for export related activities. So just be aware of that. So where can you get one of these bounce back loans? Well, as at today, there are 14 lenders, including many of the main retail banks, who are able to provide business bounce back loans. And that number is increasing day by day. You can approach them directly via their website. The application form, I'm pleased to say, is actually very short, but it does require self-declaration of all the bits that I've been discussing previously in this video. The lender will decide whether they want to offer you a business bounce back loan. They are not obliged to. They may say that you are not eligible for a BBL, but you are able to apply for other types of finance. Be aware of that, because that is not what is covered in this video. You will remain responsible for repaying the 100% of the amount borrowed, as you would expect with many other types of financing. And if you are turned down by one bank, HMRC state categorically on their website that you can go and try one of the others. So one of the other things I just need to give to you is, I hope that this is useful information. I hope that it helps you go ahead and get your business bounce back loan. We look forward to hearing about different successes in this particular area. At Sobell Rhodes, we're offering additional support through the coronavirus crisis, through our COVID-19 support plan, which is a process that we're going through with a number of our clients to help them get cash in their pockets. This was conceived by our managing partner, Andrew Rhodes, and I'm pleased to say that it's actually now being relied upon nationally and internationally. Other accountants, other business advisors are now using this because it's been taken out through an online software facility provided by our partners at F3C. So if you're interested in having a taste of how we might be able to put cash in your pocket, contact us directly. Through our usual contact information, which you'll be able to find at the end of this video. Also, if you're interested, we've got a number of live Q&A sessions that we're running at different times. And whilst this video covers only some of the information associated with the business bounce back loan, we are running these Q&As so that people can ask questions in a live scenario and really get to the nitty-gritty points. So I hope that you have found this useful. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. If you are interested in receiving other videos, please don't forget to subscribe using the subscribe button, or have a look at our full coronavirus section within YouTube, which you can click onto here. And apart from that, as with everything else in this particular time, please look after yourselves and stay safe. Thank you.